All right guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I got some questions that I printed out from YouTube. Thought I'd answer some of you guys' questions and just kind of talk a little bit about some questions you might have. So let's go ahead and get started. ORKAYEN asks, what app are you using on your iPad? So a lot of times when I'm showing swings, you'll see a tracer kind of go up showing the ball flight. I'll show the swing speed, that kind of thing. The thing that you don't see is behind the screen. This is set up about 10 feet behind me. This is called a Flight Scope XV2 or X2 Elite, I think is the name of it, yeah. So this is about a $12,000 box, pretty cool. And it's actually a radar. So the technology that's in there, it actually shoots out electromagnetic waves that bounce off the club and the ball and all that kind of stuff. It shoots out, I don't know if I got this right, it's either 12 million per second or 12 billion per second. It's a lot, I know that. So it bounces off the club. Let's imagine that I'm hitting a shot here. As I make contact with the ball, it's actually measuring the club head all the way through contact, and it's bouncing off the club and sending it back to this machine. It's reading those. So it'll tell me, is my face a half a degree or a degree open, closed? It'll tell me how much loft is on the club. It tells me how fast the ball comes up off the face, how much spin the ball has on it, carry distance. It actually tracks the ball as it's flying through the air. So usually when you're watching this on TV, you'll see what's called the Pro Tracer on the PGA Tour, and they show that little red line that kind of tracks it. Well, they're using a radar like this to track that through the air. And the cool thing is it actually shows you a ton of data that they never show you on TV. They can get into a lot of details in the swing. So that's pretty neat. I use those in some lessons. I like to use it in some videos too, because it actually shows you, anybody could sit up here, I could make a swing and say, oh yeah, 130 mile an hour club head speed. No, it went right down the middle and all this kind of stuff. But, I could just be making that up. So it's nice to have a box that's going to tell me the actual numbers so you guys can kind of see the differences. So I think it's pretty neat. So I recommend trying one of those out. It tells you a lot about your swing too, if you're interested in what's going on with contact, which is pretty much the most important part of the swing. Markway Holmes asks, he basically makes a question or a comment about Minjee Lee. So I did a review on her swing. She got a really nice looking swing and talks about how she can probably outdrive most of the guys out there, even though she's very small. The ladies that are on LPGA are not, a lot of those are very small people. They're only 5'2", maybe 115 or 20 pounds, and they're hitting the driver 250. So how are they doing that? And a lot of that comes down to the angles that we're using and releasing the club. So as you guys know, I'm big into lag and releasing the golf club, and we don't have to have a lot of strength. We talk about the hands are actually only moving about 20 miles an hour as you're coming through contact. So as these hands are moving forward, those are only going about 20 miles an hour, even if you're talking over 100 miles an hour club head speed. So a lot of people can accelerate their hands that quickly. It's all about what am I doing with the golf club and how much force am I putting into the golf club. It does take a certain amount of strength to get club head speed. So if we look at a PGA Tour player, let's say the top end of the spectrum, the elite guys are swinging 120 miles an hour. What they're doing is they're actually swinging, as they come down, they're putting about 100 to 110 pounds of force actually going up this direction, almost straight up in the air. So that means they're putting force up into this club at about 100 pounds. So it doesn't seem like a very small person like an LPGA Tour player would be able to put that kind of force into the swing. But the key is here, we got to use our legs and our hips and our body correctly. So even though it's not moving that fast, it is putting some good force into this club. And that's why we talk about, really feeling like you use your legs and you clear into the straight line release. So as you go into the straight line release, your legs are actually extending up a little bit, and that's allowing you to put that vertical force into the club and get this left shoulder to move up to whip the club on through contact. So we have what's called a clothes hanger drill. It's kind of like swinging a clothes hanger around on your finger. That's the sensation you're going to get into the handle as you're turning that handle up and it's whipping the tip of the club through there. It's kind of the same thing as when you turn a clothes hanger up as you're spinning around your finger, the tip of the clothes hanger whips through with a lot of speed. So that's one of the videos we go over in the Top Speed Golf System, and I think it's very important for speed. And that's why I talk so much about lag and release and that kind of stuff. So great question there. One person commented that increasing their shoulder turn, it got them another club of distance. They're thanking us. That's Jeff. And that's probably the easiest spot that I see, just to go a little bit of more detail on that. That's probably the easiest place. If you said, I want to pick up club head speed today, I don't want to wait a week or 2 weeks or a month, getting a little bit more turn as you go to the top. So really getting these hips, big time, you know, what's really becoming popular in instruction right now is to limit the hip turn going back. And I don't like that for most people. As we get older, as we get less flexible, we're gonna tend to limit our shoulder turn, our hip turn. I wanna make sure that we get a good full hip turn. We get that good full shoulder turn going back. And then here especially too, as we're coming on through, get those shoulders to rotate all the way around. Get that right foot to come completely off the ground so you're making a good full finish as you come on through. You don't have to push it past what your body will let you do. You don't want to feel like you're getting any strain or anything like that. But if you get a good full turn going back and a good full turn going through, that's what we call the power turn. We teach that step by step in the system. That's the easiest way, in my opinion, to pick up some club head speed immediately, very first day that you do it. So that's a great drill for you guys to work on. Let's see here. One person was asking about the reverse pivot, and James Davis says, great video, looks pretty close to stack and tilt. And this is a video I was doing on the reverse pivot. So I talked about in this video how when you have a reverse pivot, as you go to the top of your swing, your hips are actually going this way and your upper body is kind of leaning back to the target like this. And then as you come down, then you have to kind of fall back on your right side. So if you kind of look at it like this, I'm going this way in my backswing and then I'm falling back on my right side as I'm coming through. So if you feel like it's very tough for you to get your weight transferring through, you feel like it's tough in your swing to get your weight moving forward toward the target, usually I would say, I'm gonna throw a random number here, 90% of the time that I see that, usually what's happening is on the backswing, you're actually leaning too far this way. The hips are sliding that way, we're leaning back to the left, and then we're gonna fall back away from the ball, and we end up falling back on our right foot. So the key for this is what we call a stable fluid spine in the top speed golf system. It's one of our 5 pieces. As we go to the right, or we load up, we wanna make sure that we transfer some weight on our right foot, and then our upper body, our spine angle is tilted away from the target as we get to the top. Then from there, we can let everything shift on through to the left. So it's a shift to the right and a shift to the left as you come on through that allows you to transfer your weight to the left. If I get my weight way over here, then I have to fall away from it. There's no way I can hit a good golf shot from here with my spine angle. I'd be chopping way down into the ball. So stack and tilt, for example, he mentioned that there. What they have you do, which is effective, you can do this, is to go to the left, and then as you come down, we're gonna tilt and thrust your hips this way to get everything. You're kind of falling back a little bit, but you're also thrusting forward with your hips to really fight to the left side or get to the left side. So that's a way you can swing like that. There are people that play good golf like that. It's not particularly how I teach, but that is a way that you could play effectively. I like to simplify things a little bit where let's get our spine angle, let's rotate around it going back, let's rotate around it going through, and just a simple weight shift, kind of like you'd see in baseball or any type of a throwing motion. And then the last one here is asking, how do we swing aggressively while keeping our muscles tension free? And it's really, this is a great topic because I get this one a lot. And I think it's not necessarily about keeping your muscles tension free. You're gonna be firing your muscles with some speed. You're gonna be firing really, really hard. It's about when are we firing the muscles and which muscles are we firing. So the part that gets a lot of tension, what I found, is when we have our entire forearm really tight. So imagine you're gonna grip this club, and let's say you're gonna squeeze it so hard you wanna actually bend the rubber on the grip. You're gonna actually, you know, really press. You can see some water dripping out of it. You're squeezing this thing so hard. It's just as hard as you can go. Well, what I'm doing there is I'm tightening up the muscles on the top of my forearm, the bottom, the inside, the outside. Everything is just really tight. And what that does is that immobilizes my forearms. So now on the downswing, when I want to have a bunch of lag, we talk about the move in the top speed golf system. If I want to have a bunch of lag and get this sharp angle and then let that go, I can't have a lot of tension there. Because if I have a lot of tension, I'm not going to be able to get that lag, and then I'm automatically going to be able to be releasing it early. If I take this club in a position with a lot of lag and I flex my hands as hard as I can on the grip, they're going to shoot out like that because all these muscles are tightening up and they're neutralizing my wrist to make them release. So the key here is I want to remain tension free in the downswing to get that lag. I want to save that up, and as I'm coming through contact, my wrist is turning up. This is releasing that angle of lag to the straight line release. my hips and my legs are firing as I'm coming through there. I am adding some speed. So for example, as I'm coming down, I'm adding some speed with my arm, just like if I was throwing a golf ball out to my straight line release point. So I am using some muscles. I am using force as I'm trying to get a lot of speed. There's no way to swing 120 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour for most players if I don't use some force. So it's not about getting completely tension free, but it's about working on the right times to fire the muscles. I can be completely tension free and then really whip it through at the last second and use the force at the right time, and I'm gonna get that speed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I just tried to answer a few questions that were on there recently. Submit your questions in, we'll try to answer, get to all of them that we can. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll see you guys soon. All right, so I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got an awesome bonus for you. Now, one of the most important things we can do in golf, and let's face it, we all want to crank the ball. We want to hit it hard with a lot of power. That's probably the #1 thing to improving your golf game that I found. And the best thing to do to improve your speed, your power, is to get a lot more lag in the downswing. So I got a great bonus for you. One of the #1 mistakes that I see people make that is really killing their lag. I'm going to play a preview of that video. If you want to watch the full thing, all you have to do, if you're on a desktop device, you're on a computer, go ahead and click the link that pops up on your screen. That'll get you instant access to that full video, plus 5 bonus videos from our Top Speed Golf system. It's going to walk you through the entire system. And then if you're on a mobile device, a tablet, you're going to go ahead and click on the iCard that's somewhere on the screen right now. Go ahead and click that iCard, click that link. It's going to get you instant access, and I'll see you all in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building the lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, you look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be.